How's it, Jono?
How's it?
Yeah, thanks for helping out.
It's nice to
Your aunt's still away,
have a little
walking
beverage.
the Otter Trail.
Yeah, no, it's unreachable and it's been raining.
Yeah, I was in Kruger, so it's a bit
We're back.
difficult. We're back.
Yeah.
We're back, and we're going to fix up the website, all that stuff. If you go on the website, not a lot of people do.
We also got to have a holiday sometime, you know.
Yes, and the signal was very bad, so it was difficult to get that one video out. But now we're back. It's a Sunday, and we're making the video. And we're very happy about the Springbok game.
Yeah.
We started well. From the start, you could see there's a bit more innovation, a few more clever passes, inside passes, slightly different running
Willing to
lines.
keep the ball alive a little bit longer, build phases,
Yeah.
play a little bit in the back line.
Yeah,
You know, so I felt massive improvements, and I think that their character was tested there to win that game as the last game of the championship.
yes,
Really, to come through and win, it proves that they are such a good team.
yes.
You know what I mean? It's not a fluke. When you win the championship, you win the World Cup, you beat the British and Irish Lions, then you beat New Zealand away.
Yeah.
Even though you lose a few games in between, you've got to learn somewhere, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
No, it was a bad patch there against Australia. I think we learned quite a bit from it. But like you said, you read a bit about how tough it was over there.
yeah. Dwayne came out and he actually made a statement, and I read it today, about how easy it is for us as guys who are not involved in the action to judge the media and the public. He says it's been incredibly challenging for them overseas, being in isolation. He says that for the first 2 weeks of quarantine, they literally had no help because of isolation. They couldn't. They had to make their own beds. They had to do all their own things.
Yes.
You know, instead of focusing on the game.
So that's a little bit of extra work, doing your own
Definitely.
washing and
being
stuff
away
and
from
all
their
sorts.
families and their kids
Yeah.
is a huge one, and you know, having to play the whole thing. So it was tough for them. You know, hats off to them in the end, and you know, it's better for us to get behind them than to keep throwing massive criticism at them.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if no one, if the foreigners are unhappy with the way we play, then they must be unhappy.
Yeah, look, I think we're going to get to that now. I've got a little bit of a theory about it. Let's just run through the game. So we started off with a great try and an amazing pass from Lukanyo, who I think he's putting his hand up to possibly be the best outside centre in the world.
Yeah.
Defensively, organising defence, attack, skills.
Who you gonna put ahead of him? I think the only player that can maybe match him is Karevi.
Yeah, Summer Karevi, and that Karevi-Ikital partnership is also very good. So Karevi is a 12 and Ikital is a 13.
Yeah, no, those centres for the Aussies are monsters.
Yes, they're playing very, very well at the moment. So that sort of set the scene. The pass to Dalenda was a little bit high, but luckily he took it, and it was a good.
But you know what I love about that pass? He used his brain. He kind of was willing to fling it, but he threw like a little dummy, which drew in the defender, and then he flipped the pass, which actually was what opened up the line for us.
Saboom Corsi, very good. Yeah, there were a few refereeing moments that we didn't agree with, and we can highlight things against South Africa and where it actually helped us. So it's not like we're going to say he just benefited New Zealand. I just think, I don't know, don't want to be nasty or anything, but the guy's got a little bit of a strange attitude where he made his own decisions and he didn't listen to what anyone said, the players or assistant referees even. And South Africa's assistant coach was so angry at one stage that he wanted to run onto the field to bring his point through, and he threatened him with a yellow card because that was a kick that really kicked one of those 50-22s when it's actually you get the ball back, and it was a quick throw in, and that eventually led to a try.
Yeah. So ultimately it should have been Boca line out in their 22.
Attacking line.
It's like you can't tell the ref anything. You know, I understand. If you're Nigel Owens and you're of that kind of quality and caliber, then I get it.
Yeah,
then,
but he would have listened to his assistant.
He used to listen, for sure. And I'm finding this as a trend across the URC as well. I think in the URC it's actually way worse. But it's the same with that knock-on try situation.
Other thing was Joe Moody facing the try line, arm in front of him. It hits him on the front of his arm. It cannot go backwards.
Yeah,
from there. It's impossible.
That was a pathetic That's just a pathetic refereeing situation.
And he refuses to listen. The assistants told him, let's just have a look. And he's like, no, I saw it. It was backwards. I'm fine with that. I just want to check the ground.
Oh man, it's actually so frustrating. You know, if that had happened to the All Blacks, I mean, they would have also been up in arms, but they would have gotten the scrum from that quite easily. I mean,
so those are 2 tries that shouldn't have been. And then the third thing was Mapimpi, who was, I mean, a country mile in front of the kicker. And I was waiting for him to retreat, and he didn't retreat. He immediately joined the play, and he didn't pick up on it. So the All Blacks can feel aggrieved about that as well. But the point we're trying to make is a TMO needs to be in his ear. I mean, if we can see it on TV, and they can obviously see it, and this guy obviously had the attitude of he's not listening to anyone.
I found the refereeing at the end of the Lions series. I don't know who that referee was. I think he refed us in the previous New Zealand game. I found him to be absolutely brilliant. He really slows it down, takes his time, explained it thoroughly, his thought process, and then you've got this is big
Ben
time.
O'Keefe was the one who we thought was very good, but that's after there was a bit of pressure. And in the last game as well.
I don't know. I can't remember that referee's name, but it's a big time professional sport. You know, you slow it down, you make a right call because this impacts people. So I'm very disappointed ref again, but I don't think, you know, that we saw the right outcome at the end.
Yes.
You know, the Bokke stood up.
Yes. Another player I want to talk about who I keep defending, or Sportstats keeps defending because they keep criticizing him, is Siya Kolisi. I mean, he added stealing the ball on the ground to his game. He stole another critical ball. He was counter-rucking like a madman.
I don't know where this criticism comes from.
He had an amazing game.
Who are these people that are they not watching?
No.
Honestly, guys, Siya is playing probably the best rugby of his career.
Yes.
You know, he's leading by example. He is huge for us.
I suppose if there's a little bit criticism, it's the way he speaks to the ref is where he can improve, but his play is absolutely amazing.
You're going to get captains that are good at doing that, and you're going to get captains that just put their bodies on the line and play for their team and lead by example. And if he's putting all the energy out, you've got no excuses as a player. And Siya to me is massive, and it's unwarranted criticism as far as I'm concerned. People that don't watch rugby every single week.
No, it's true.
You know?
And then we love Willie Leroux, but he had a very bad game.
but he had a bad one. He had I almost think I feel sorry for him because he's probably on the verge of on his way out.
Yes.
And he's not going to look back at his last game. If this is his last game with fond memories. No,
he almost looked as if he's a bit scared, and he didn't know what to do and how to deal with. He was tackling high, and he dropped the ball because he was already moving away from the contact.
He's never been a brilliant defensive fullback, and he's not a very good punter of the ball. I mean, he can kick it into space, and he's got good vision, but distance is something he doesn't possess. But he had a terrible game, and everyone saw it. In fact, the All Blacks changed their kick-off tactics to target that weakness, which was him in the center of the field, and it worked for them virtually every single time. So
then
change it to come.
Made the brave call to put Frans Steyn, and he hardly put a foot wrong.
Man, Francie was amped.
He was
He made a massive tackle, kicked the ball like the length of a rugby field twice. He went for the big drop goal, which was
a grubber.
It's like a 60-meter grabber. But ultimately, I think his influence on that game is what turned the tide for us. You know. But one thing I really admired about the Boks is they weren't soft.
No.
I mean, the All Blacks were there busy putting pressure on us, and we were relentless in defence. We kept our structure, and we kept our energy levels really high on defence, and that ultimately won us the game. In the end, I think we were able to weather the storm. And put them under pressure.
From last week, there wasn't composure. We were just kicking balls away. In the last 10 minutes. And the composure this time around, the drop goal, the steal, keeping the ball, forcing the penalty, it was just amazing to see.
I don't think Beauden Barrett knows how to play a team like that.
No.
He doesn't know how to play against a team that play that kind of rugby.
Kick the ball out on the full.
He actually looks average when you put him under that kind of pressure. You know, it reminds me a little bit of Elton.
No.
I still think that Moaga's their better a better option at fly-off.
But so do the coaches. When both of them were fit, they were picking on.
A nice little backflip doesn't make you a brilliant rugby player, you know. But anyway, I thought Geordie
Yes, he was good.
I mean, Geordie's quality.
Yes,
The way he runs onto the ball, and he's big, eh?
at pace.
Yeah, no, he's proper. That
Cut through our defence as
Yeah.
if it wasn't there. Yeah.
What's this? You know, they're lacking a bit of physicality in their forward pack,
Yeah.
and I think that Scott Barrett has a lot to do with that. I think Brody Retallick is still there.
He might have been a little bit injured. Maybe they should have taken him off after he had that. It looked like a dead arm situation.
He got a stinger.
He got a stinger and
Right.
wanted to carry on playing.
Yeah, they've lost a bit of physicality.
Yeah.
Severe's there. He's always going to be dominant,
Yeah.
and he's a concern for us. But
Look, it
I
was
don't know.
a great rugby match. 5 tries in the game, high scoring game.
yeah.
Like you said, they changed their plan and they completely destroyed us in the kickoffs by regaining most of their own kickoffs. And it was so close. They played a great match. We played a great match. It could have gone either way, but yes,
To come back and win with that penalty, you know, was because, you know, at that stage Francois Steyn had an option to go for posts,
Yeah.
and I was hoping he wouldn't do that.
He took the ball and he was like, he sort of kicked it out. It wasn't
Yeah,
even
no.
fly off. He
No.
had Pollard and Yankees on the field, and he said, "No, I'm kicking it out."
All we needed was a good line-out take, and we had that game
Yeah.
because we were going to put them under pressure and win a penalty or score.
So the box kick, a few less box kicks. There was one box kick on the attack compared to quite a few last week. I don't believe you should do a box kick close to the opponent's 22 when you're on the attack.
Yeah.
So there was one and much better kicks, better competing. We saw great running lines, a great running line from Bongi Bunambi, which almost led to a try.
And Delenda was running excellent lines.
Yeah.
He was constantly getting over the advantage line.
Yeah.
One thing else I noticed as well was we weren't immediately going for the maul.
Yeah.
We had about 3 or 4 lineouts where we went in off the back,
Threw it off the
down
top.
off the top, down the back line, and I think that must have taken them off guard a bit
Yeah.
because now they're guessing. Like, what are they going to do? How do we
Yeah.
set our defense? You know,
No,
it was well done.
I think our rugby is going to evolve on its own into a more running game. When we feel that we have the skill set to do that. I don't know if we're quite there yet. And we're sort of in between a kicking and a running game. We can do a bit more running, but we can't just overnight play like the All Blacks because we won't win, and we want to win.
No, that's not who we are.
No.
We are physical, and we play pressure games. So we've always got to, as far as I'm concerned, that always has to be our number one plan, is to outmuscle and squeeze opponents, and then to have
Force mistakes. We score
Correct.
from mistakes. Yeah.
And we can run, but it doesn't mean we have to.
Yeah.
Like every team has got to have a different tactic, a different game plan.
Yes.
You know, and
Yeah.
I'm happy with the Aussies coming up to number 3 in the world rankings. I think they deserve it. I think their team is looking quite good.
Oh, no.
Let's see.
Yeah, they just a short word on them against Argentina. I think they are on the right track. Dave Rennie is doing the right things. They've got very good combinations, especially in the centres. Quade Cooper there. They've got good scrum halves.
They do
Lots
have
of good
scrummies.
guys. Pete Samu coming through in the flanker position,
Is that massive number 8
and
with the hair?
yeah, that's Valentini.
And that guy's physical.
Yeah, no, he's very good, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have to give credit to Kwagga Smith. I thought starting these 2 test matches, he looked very good. He gets us, he hits gaps, gets us through the gain line. I like the channels that he runs. He pops up on the wing and helps out the wingers there as an extra option to pass to.
And he's always looking to step. So he's not looking to take the man on.
Yeah.
He's looking to get a meter by stepping.
Yeah.
No, he had a great game.
But Dwayne was man of the match. Steal at the end.
Yes, and the week before we were thinking maybe it's time for Dwayne.
Yeah.
I mean, who are you going to replace him with, really? I mean, Dwayne.
Yeah.
He's my favourite. I mean, Skulk is my number 1 of all time, but Dwayne's a close second.
So, and I hope we can just do away with this whole thing about boring rugby. There are reasons why we play the way we play, I think, the Springboks. And I think it's going to become more attractive as we settle down. Rossi hasn't been there for that long, so...
We are fans, we know how it feels. It is way worse to lose than to win, no matter what.
Yeah.
So just win.
We
Just
mentioned
win all the
that.
time.
We
I don't
mentioned
care, you
was
just win.
when New Zealand won the World Cup final 8-7 against France in 2011. Did everybody scream, "What a boring game! What a boring game of rugby!" Or were they just happy that they won?
Yeah, no.
You know, they were just happy that they won.
Well, okay.
That's what
You don't have to watch if you don't want to.
Yeah.
I just want the Springboks to win. I don't care. No, switch off the TV.
Yeah,
No one's. I promise you, I won't be offended.
Play more boring rugby. That's what we say.
Yeah.
No, joking. We like this game.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, rugby's
Yeah.
whatever. You know, it's beautiful. Either way.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a quick word on Elton. I think he deserves a mention.
Yes, definitely.
I think coming into a pressure situation like that,
Yeah.
having not played, I mean, he's played a few minutes here and there, and to me, he showed a lot of composure. Look, he took the drop kick. It's always going to be a gamble, but it paid off.
I think he almost wanted that drop kick to miss, because then we could have taken his time to take the penalty, and it would have taken up a bit more time. Maybe it was you can't criticize that because it was a good moment. Maybe it was better to go through the phases and waste a bit of time to end the game right there, because there were so many points after that. There were 2 more penalties after that. But just the pass to
you also got to back
Mapimpi,
yourself, I suppose. But that pass, that
a
was
few very nice runs in the midfield, sidestepping, getting it through a half gap, and that really played well.
I think he's kicking. I mean, he looked a lot more confident off the tee than Pollard, let's be honest. He was just getting the ball. Pollard, that's the area of his game that needs to improve.
He's low on confidence.
He is, but I would never drop him.
No,
I don't think people understand what you've got in a guy like Andre Pollard.
He attacked the line in the end there, and he made a few breaks.
When that guy's on top form, there's a reason he gets paid so much money to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Overseas, of course.
No, he's
So,
quality.
it's just
Quality.
him.
You stick to quality. Class is permanent. Form, there are dips and forms, but class is permanent. Look at Frans Steyn. He's also had dips and form,
They've all had it.
but class is permanent. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, great job, Springboks.
Thanks, Boca, for
Go
making
Boca.
us happy.
Yeah.